All right, guys. So functions this week. We're going to start our Monday off with that lat activation work, scapula circles, and bench press. So, what the idea of this is to work on creating muscle awareness. Okay, like how do we actually activate the lat fully and feel where that muscle is? It's like, yeah, you always hear it's like, okay, like, do you feel that in your back? Okay, but like, there's a bunch of different muscles working. So like, let's figure out what's actually firing up. Let's isolate a little bit more. So we create more body awareness. And as we create that body awareness, it helps us move a little bit better. We're aware of like what areas to activate or what should be feeling when we do certain movements. So in that first piece, we're going to do some muscle awareness, focusing on the lat. And then into B, we're going to be doing our scapula circles, this time from the overhead position. So probably something newer. It's going to be more challenging. You're going to notice your elbow is going to bend a little bit more, especially when you're pulling your shoulder blade down and back, or your arm is going to come down more because you're kind of focused on doing the circle, and then you're going to notice it's lowering. So really focus on keeping that position. And if circles are challenging for you, just work on like practicing moving the shoulder blade up and down first, and then forward and back, then put it into a circle. And then if a circle is easy, we're going to do figure eights instead as well. So really cool position today, different than what we're used to. But that's going to take us into our bench press where we're warming up kind of that overhead position. Not necessarily we're going into an overhead position with it, but we are seeing some shoulder flexion when we're pushing our bar up from our chest. So that will help us prime those muscles up. 3 sets of 5. We want to do, again, what we've done in the previous weeks, kind of build off of that. And if it feels good, we can kind of go a little heavier with it. Following that up, our workout, 15 minutes. This is all about aerobic endurance. So we want to be moving at a steady pace. And this pace is something that, like, by the 15 minutes, like you start and finish kind of with that pace. So really important to be kind of mindful when you start the workout. Let's get into it. Like once you do that first couple rounds, you're like, okay, this feels kind of okay. This pace is fine. Like, let maintain it, especially since the reps are going up in this. Because how we're doing this is like we're doing 3 burpees, and then for every burpee, we're going to step over the dumbbell, and 3 dumbbell hang snatches or hang dumbbell snatches there, and 21 single skips every time. The reps are going up for the burpees and the hang dumbbell snatches, so it's going to challenge a little bit more of the endurance in those muscles. So you want to be careful you don't go too fast off the gates, because when you get to the round 12, 15s, 18s, or even 21s, fatigue is going to set in a little more. There's more time and attention, so you want to make sure you're ready for that. So you've created a little bit of reserve and you haven't blown up early. You can kind of maintain when you get to those higher rep ranges. And the idea of this is like to get at aerobic stimulus. We're working on our cardiovascular endurance there. So your fitness is improving when you're working on this kind of stuff. So be very mindful that you're keeping good pace across the workout today. I would say like try to aim to get 15, like the round of 15 or more in the 15 minutes, and choose dumbbells that will allow you to kind of keep most of it unbroken. Maybe around the 15s or 18s, you're trying to break it up a little more. Wednesdays, kind of the reverse of what we've been already doing. We're going to do hamstring activation. So same idea like I talked about on Monday. We're just doing it for the lower body now. So how do we activate the hamstrings? You know, when you're doing deadlifts, it's like, do you feel on your hamstrings? Maybe, kind of. It's like, okay, let's just figure out like what the hamstring actually does in the first place. And we're going to do some contractions and really feel different parts of the hamstring. Then we're going to do some hip circles. We're going to go in the cross body position. So this is going to activate some more of our adductors. Those are the muscles kind of that pull our leg inwards, or groin muscles. So 3 sets, 3 to 5 reps, circles there, what we want to work on. And we're doing that on both sides there. And that's going to take us into the weighted lunge, because we're going to see a lot of our groin muscles working there. Our hip joint is working. Our hamstring is activating while we're doing that. So with this, it's weighted lunges. I would just say, like, do the same progression you've been already doing throughout the cycle. And if it feels good, maybe bump it up a little bit more in terms of the challenge level of it. But if it's already challenging, let's keep it as is. Following that up, we're going to always finish off with a good kind of burner at the end. So we got our 3-round workout for time, 12-minute cap, 20 calories on the bike, 20 med ball squat clean. So this one is going to hit the legs, but we got some skill, we got some endurance, and like I said, lower body stamina. The idea is like to keep a good pace, so 4-minute pace per round to get this done, or at least get into the third round in this one. The salt bike and the med ball squat clean combo is definitely going to hit that leg stamina. This med ball squat clean also has a skill component to it too, so there's a little bit of thinking involved in that. So maybe you would break that up, sets of 5, put it down, sets of 5, put it down, and that should be kind of a weight that like you don't do 20 unbroken. You're probably doing like at most 10 before you need to reset, take like 10-20 seconds before you do the next set. But good 3-round workout to finish off today and kind of put all the pieces together of what you worked on. All right, next day, Thursday, we have our vision and balance work. Very important to be working on this always. You're going to notice there's always that wobbliness that happens, and that's normal. We want to see that when we're working on our balance. It's not going to be perfectly still. And if you're finding like a position today that's very challenging and you're like, you just can't hold it for like 3 or 4 seconds, maybe kind of regress back a little bit. But if you are wobbling, I know that that's kind of like the common thing. Everyone's like, oh, it should be kind of like perfectly still. Like that's ideal. But if it's wobbling, your brain is actually training at that point. It's training how to make those adjustments. So it's normal. It might be a little frustrating. Maybe you're only holding for like 8 seconds, 10 seconds, but that's okay. That's where the actual training kind of happens. So vision and balance is what we're going to work on today. We're working on our vestibular system. We're working on our visual system, and kind of like also understanding or creating awareness of how these two work together. And a lot of our movement is based off of this. So when we're doing movements, our inner ear and our eyes take about 50 or 80% of the information that we're processing. So like through our body, through our environment. And so knowing that, it's like we rely a ton on that. And if there's any deficits in it, it shows up in our movements. It shows up in different ways. So it can show up in pain, it can show up in tightness. Really depends on the person, but these systems need to be trained a ton, and that's why we're working on them on Thursdays. We want to get better at them because it makes us stronger, makes us better athletes, and reduces pains and mobility restrictions too as well. So really cool benefits from it. From there, we're going to work on the midline. So we kind of have like that stability midline theme today. Going into the workout, we're doing a ascending rep scheme of Turkish sit-ups and a descending rep scheme of rowing. So we got 500-meter row, 3 Turkish get-ups, 400-meter row, 6 Turkish get-ups, and so forth all the way down, finishing with 15 Turkish sit-ups. The idea of this one is to really hit the midline, so our core is working and our shoulder too as well. We're benefiting from shoulder stability in this one. So a little bit of wobbles, okay, but if you're finding like the weight or whatever you're using is you don't have control of, definitely reduce the weight and just go like with something light enough that you feel a little bit of a stability challenge with. And that's Thursday. Final day of the week being our Saturday class. We got our endurance focus day. So we got 3 sets. We're going to focus on our awareness of like how we're breathing. The diaphragm stretches are going to stay as is. We're going to do 3 to 5 reps of that. Then we're going to go into 1 set of air hunger on the bike erg. So what this is basically we're breathing in, breathing all the way out. And then without breathing, we're going to bike erg as much as we can until we need to breathe. And then we're going to try to recover nice and slow through 2 breaths. The idea is to, as we're not breathing, the CO2 is building up in our chemistry there, in our bloodstream, and it's making us be like, breathe. We need to kind of recycle that real quick. And when we're calm and kind of like control that, we see a change in the actual blood vessel size. So the diameter increases, so there's a little bit more blood flow. And this is something that like a lot of people actually need. We think we need to breathe more in. It's actually that we need to create a little bit more CO2 balance in the body. So it does sound a little counterintuitive, but you might find like over time, as you do this more regularly, your breathing gets better. You're more tolerating of those times when you're breathing heavy in a workout, because there's mini kind of air hunger happening when we're doing a workout and we're breathing heavy and it's like it's getting hard, we slow down and we try to like catch our breath. There's that is in a way itself is air hunger. We're feeling that CO2 build up, and that is making us kind of like uncomfortable, and so we're like slowing down. But what we do need that we need that to happen, and it activates a ton of systems in our brain. So like today would be like one of the places is our cerebellum, which does a lot of our balance and our coordination, and our midbrain, which activates a lot of our sympathetic system, which allows us to kind of move or like get into that kind of fight or flight mode, which we kind of are doing when we're working, or working out, I should say. So a lot of benefits to it. Take your time with it, explore with it. I know you guys have been working on it for a couple of weeks. We're gonna do it on the bike erg, on the row erg, and on the ski. When we're done that, we're gonna have those movements in the workout. We're doing a steady pace, kind of EMOM 30, trying to breathe through the nose. First minute ski, second minute slam ball clean to shoulder. So you're gonna get one of those red slam balls, clean it to your shoulder, and then drop it back down. Third minute row, fourth minute air squats, fifth minute bike erg, sixth minute step ups. And we're just going to go through that 5 times for 30 minutes, just steady pace. Try to breathe through the nose. If you can't breathe through the nose, you're going too fast. So that's your way to monitor your pace today. Overall, that's the last workout of the week for functions. Hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll see you guys next week for the next set of workouts.